Hello viewers, I welcome you all from HLT of Tech channel, and today we will talk about the installation of Dynamics CRM 9.0 in an on-premise environment. As we all know that uh, Dynamics CRM is a very popular platform that was introduced by Microsoft in later 2016, and since then it is used as a essential part of ERP in most of the organizations worldwide. So many of the organizations are using it as an online service, but all those organizations that prefer to have an isolated domain and they have their own domain, rather they don't prefer it to buy on internet. They want that there must be some isolated domain in which they want to deploy their Dynamics CRM 9.0 system. This video is for those organizations. Okay, there are main three types of steps that we will follow during the installation of Dynamics CRM. The first step is we will prepare the Active Directory. In my case, I have a server with whose IP I have assigned a static IP, that is 10 20 30 10. That is my domain controller, and it also serves the Active Directory. In Active Directory, if I go to that server 10 20 31 and I go into the Active Directory users and computers, you can see that if I go into users, I have created three users, that is SP19 admin, SP19 farm, and SP19 SQL. Okay, these three users are simple users of the domain that will serve as the purpose of the administrator of the CRM database server and the CRM application server. So the naming convention may vary as per your organization standards, but I am keeping it simple. That's why I have named three simple users. After creating these three users, the step one finishes and we proceed to step number two. In step number two, we will prepare the database server. In my case, I have created a member server that is of operating system 2022, Windows Server 2022, and in that server I have assigned a static IP, that is 10 20 30 40, and I have joined this server with my this domain. Okay, in that DB server, first of all, if I go into that DB server, you will see that if I go into local users and groups, the first step that is necessary, I will assign all these three users that we created in step one the membership of administrator group. Okay, that is very important step, and that is the initial step that we have to execute before proceeding towards the installation. After that, I am logging in to my database server with this user, that is SP19 SQL, which will be responsible for all the database related activities. Okay, one more thing that I want to tell you, if you are working in a larger organization and you want to configure a CRM server for a very large organization that have campuses that are geographically located at different locations, and are there will be a very large number of users, then I recommend you to make separate users for separate services. I will guide you through the video, so continue, stay with me and watch this video. I will tell you that in what purpose you will create the more users than the one I have created here, that is only three users. Okay, after that step, I will going to install the Microsoft SQL Server 2019 in the database server. That is a newly created server with the Windows Server operating system 2022, and it is joined as a member server with my domain. That is, my domain is hltf.tech. Okay, this is my domain, and I have joined this server, that is 10 20 30 40. If I go and show you about through ns lookup command 10 20 30 40, you will see that this server is the member of domain, and the name of this server I have keep it simple, that is CRM DB. You can change this naming convention as per your organization standards. Okay, so let's proceed further with the installation of SQL Server. I have attached the ISO image and I have logged in through SP19 SQL user. Okay, I will double click it and I will start installing the SQL Server. It will be a new server. After entering the license key, I will accept the license terms. Since I am working on an offline environment that is not connected to the internet, so I will skip this. I will later install the latest updates. It will validate some settings. Okay, now after validation check, I will click next. Okay, viewers, for CRM, we need some services, that is database engine services, and we need SQL Server application and reportings and SQL Server reporting service. SQL Server reporting service in 2019 doesn't come with the complete package. We have to install it separately. So the installation path, it is always recommended that you select a separate installation path. So here I will select E, and the shared directive will also be E, and it will also be E. Now I will click next. Okay, I'm leaving it default. Okay, now for SQL Server database engine, I will browse and I will select SP19 SQL. You may leave it default as well. I'll click next. Okay, we will select the mix mode. This will be the password of SA in case your domain becomes offline. Similarly, you can also add number of users here. I'm adding all the 3 users that I created in step 1. They will have the administrative rights. If we go into the data directories, I have changed the path to E. TempDB will also be E, but in very large organizations, it is always recommended that you attach a separate drive for TempDBs and data directories as well as for log files. Okay, I'm going to click next. This is the summary, and this will be the configuration file path. So I will click on install and the installation will start. Okay viewers, the SQL Server installation has completed successfully, and the server is requiring the restart. So let's restart the server. Okay viewers, the SQL Server installation of database engine has been completed successfully. We have restarted the server as well. Now we will install the SQL Server Management Studio for accessing the database engine. It will also take some few minutes. I am going to change the location of the server in the E drive and where the SQL Server was installed, and I will install it. Okay viewers, SQL Server Management Studio has been installed successfully, and it also requires a restart. So let's restart the server once again. Viewers, the server has been restarted, and now I will type here management. That will lead me to Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. Let's start the engine for the first time and see whether it is all things are okay. Okay viewers, we are going to connect to the server first time. This is CRM DB server, and this is the user that we will log in SP19 SQL that will be responsible for managing the database and connection of database with the application, and I will connect it. Okay, the engine is successfully connected, and these are the default databases that are created at the time of the creation of engine. Similarly, if I go into the security and if I go into credentials, sorry, logins, these are all of the logins that are allowed on the server. Let's see their server roles. Okay, one more thing, they are system admin. We will also make them the security admin as well as server admin, and I will repeat this step for all of the users: security admin, server admin, and system admin. And same for SP19 SQL: security admin, server admin, and system admin. Okay, now the database engine is running fine. Next step, we are going to install the SQL Server Reporting Services. This is installed separately because in SQL Server 2019 it is not included in the complete package. So I will run it as an administrator and I will click yes. As you all know that Microsoft Dynamics CRM also requires the reporting server because it generates some reports of the sales, and similarly it also generates reports of some entities. So all of the reports, whether they are in report form, tabular form, or graphical form in the form of graphs, they are all uh, generated through SQL Server Reporting Server. Okay, I will enter the product key here, or you can also choose a free edition which expires in 180 days. Okay, the key here that you mentioned is the same key which you have if you have for the Microsoft SQL 19 Enterprise Server. The same key will be used here, or you can use the evaluation key as well depending upon your requirement. Okay, we are going to install reporting services only because our SQL Server database is already running, and as per the standard we are giving a separate drive for the installation of application softwares. So the installation of SQL reporting services has started. It will also take some few minutes. We will be right back. Okay viewers, after the installation of reporting server, we will go for the report server configuration manager. So it is starting first time, and server name is this one, and report server instance is this, and we will connect it. Okay, here you are seeing that the report server is started and the services of report is started in the server. If we go into the service account, we will assign it HLTF tech, sorry, HLTF oblique SP19 SQL as a user. If you want to have a separate user for reporting services, you can assign here. It depends upon your requirement, but I am using it the same user that was the database administrator as well, and I will apply it. Okay, the task has been completed successfully. After that, you are seeing here this URL is mandatory. It will be required during the CRM application. I am keeping it on TCP port 80 with HTTP, but you can also change the certificate, and you can also bind it with the HTTPS binding. For keeping it simple, I am keeping it on HTTP. So if we go and see the databases, here I will click next. We will create a new database here. Service credentials will remain same, and we will create a report server database. Okay, now the CRM DB is configured with report server CRM database. We have only one server. We are not registering it with Power BI. Power BI is another topic. It's a vast topic. I will cover it later in my videos. So this was all about configuring the report server configuration database. Up till now, if we look at the steps, we have already covered the prepare active directory, and then we in creation of database server, we had a server that was assigned at static IP 10.20.30.40. It was a CRM DB. Its name is CRM DB. Okay, first of all, we install the Microsoft SQL Server. Then we install SQL Server Management Studio. Then we install and configure the SQL Server Reporting Server. And last thing is that we will install the latest SQL Cumulative Update. This step is necessary if you are working in an offline environment that is not connected to the internet. But if your environment is already connected to the internet, your SQL can fetch the latest updates from there. So all those who are working on uh, internet based deployment, they can skip this step, or otherwise it's mandatory that you install the latest update that I have recently downloaded from internet, and we are going to install it here. Okay viewers, regarding step 2, all steps have been completed. We have prepared the database server. We have installed Microsoft SQL Server 2019 Enterprise Edition. We have installed SQL Server Management Studio to access that database engine, and we have installed and configured the SQL Reporting Server as well. We have configured it, and we have also installed the latest SQL Cumulative Update. Now we are good to head towards the step 3. For step 3, I have prepared a new server. We have named it as a CRM app server. I have named it at CRM app server. This is the FQDN name of in my domain. I have joined it with the domain that is hltf.tech, and I have given it the static IP that is 10.20.30.41. So let's access this server through the remote desktop connection 10.20.30.41. Okay, I'm going to log in through SP19 admin. Before this, you should make sure whenever you do any practice or any installation on any member server, you should make the user that you have dedicated as a manage account, or that will be a manage administrator account, as the local administrator of the machine. In my case, let me show you. These are the groups, these are the administrators, and I have assigned the membership of administrator group, local administrator group of the machine, to all of these 3 users that we created in step 1. Same step I did it for the database server, and same I am doing for the app server. Okay, now if I go to ns lookup command, and I will say 10.20.30.41, the name of my server on which I am going to install the application that is Dynamics CRM is CRM app server. And similarly, I should also ping the server that is my database server, or both of these servers must be reachable. So if they are not reachable, then it may cause some issues. Okay, that's fine, it's not reachable right now. Let me see what is the issue. I have switched off the firewall, Windows firewall. It usually create issues. You must allow an app or turn Windows firewall off. After switching it off, I have got response from 10, 20, 30, 40. So it means that if I ping it through the name, it must also be pingable. Okay, fine. Now my database connectivity with the application server is okay, and we are good to go for installation of SQL Server. Oh, sorry, Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Okay. Okay, now we will prepare Dynamics CRM Application Server, in which I am going to install the Dynamics CRM package first. And let's start the application. I will go. I have already uploaded ISO image. No, yes, I have already uploaded an ISO image. So I will just double click it, and viewers, this will allow me to install the Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So we are good to go for the installation of Microsoft installing Microsoft Dynamics 365 server. So I will click here. I'm not going to install updates since I'm working on an isolated network that is not connected. I will install the Dynamics 365 updates offline later. Because after installing the key, after mentioning the key, you should accept this license agreement, as there is no other option to proceed further. Okay, it's asking me to install these things. Either you can install it first, or you can install it here at this point. It will install all of these things as it's already included in the package. Okay, viewers, all of these components have been installed as they were included in the package. I will just click next to proceed further. Okay, viewers, here I have attached a separate drive, and I will do the all the installation at this drive. So I will just change its path, and I will proceed next. It's always recommended that you attach a separate drive here. Now it will ask me to enter the database server, that in my case it is CRMDB. Its full name is CRMDB, and I am going to create a new deployment. So I will click refresh. After that, it will check whether the CRMDB is accessible. That's why we have already verified that our CRMDB is accessible with this application server. I will click next, and here it's telling me the domain, and it's my domain. Okay, fine. And I'm going to click next. This step is important. Let me tell you about these things. These are the different type of services. If you are working on a very large organization where there are different types of admins, for example, sandbox processing service admin is different, deployment web service admin is different, you can create multiple users. But in my case, I'm keeping it simple by only identifying the SP19 admin as a user. Okay. Okay, viewers, I have mentioned this user and the password. I will click next. Okay, the website that it will use, it's not recommended to use a default website. It's always recommended that you create a new website, because it's always host a new website in IS, that is IS server, that is Internet Information System. So I'm keeping email server router server name as blank. I will configure it later. Okay, the display name for my this will be HLTF company CRM. Okay, this will be my uh, display name. Okay, let's keep it simple, HLTF CRM. So that will be also my database name. The currency I'm using it is US dollars, and rest I'm leaving it default. I will click next. Okay, this is the report server URL. If you remember, that is the URL that we have already configured in step 2. I will click next. Right now I'm not going to install any update. There is an error that is showing that the full text component is not installed on the specified SQL server. So while installation, we didn't install the full text component. So let's install it as well. For that we will go again and do this. Okay, we are going to add features to an existing SQL server, and we are going to add full text which we forgot to add in while installing. So we will click next. We are going to install it. Okay, now let's check again whether the error has been resolved or not. Okay, it's telling me that the Microsoft SQL Server agent is not running. We have to start the Microsoft SQL Server agent here. This is the agent, and we will just right click and start the agent. Now the SQL Server agent has been started. Okay, fine. Now there's no error right now. Regarding the warnings, let me tell you that I told you earlier that whenever you are working to deploy CRM, Microsoft CRM for large organizations, you must have separate identities for user IDs for maintaining the sandbox processing, VSS writer service, and asynchronous processing service, etc. So I have used only one user for that. Let me show you again. These are the users. Deployment web service SP19 is used. For sandbox processing, we must have a separate user. For VSS writer service, we must have a separate user. And for asynchronous processing, we must have a separate user. For monitoring service, that is, we are connecting to the SQL Server reporting server, we are using SP19 SQL. So if you are working on large organizations and to skip the warnings or to resolve the warnings, you must have separate user IDs for managing these services. I'm working on a test environment, so I am ignoring these warnings. Okay, let's start. The following service may be stop or restart. Okay, fine. And this is the summary, and we will install it. Okay viewers, here you can see that the installation of Dynamics 365 has been completed successfully. We will finish the installation, and after that let us see in internet information system that whether our website is ready. Yes, here you can see that Microsoft Dynamics site is ready, and we can browse it on the browser. Since it's the first time, the loading will complete after some minutes or seconds. Yes, that's congratulations to all of you. We have successfully configured the Dynamics 365 9.0, and this is the first time login page. So I will ignore this pop-up message, and if I go into about, here you will see that the Dynamics version will be here. That's 9 point version 161 to 9.0 on-premise version, and this was the name of our organization. If you remember, we gave this name during the configuration. You can change your name, you can give your name as per your organization standards and criteria. So this is the interface of Dynamics. Here we can also navigate to different parts, that is leads, We can also explore different orders and invoice. If we go into the settings, we can also change the customizations, and here you can see that the customization will appear here. It's giving me an option of enabling server-based SharePoint integration. I have already uploaded many videos on SharePoint, and very soon we are going to start our regular topics on Dynamics 365, and one of them will be integration of SharePoint on premise with Dynamics 365 on premise. So viewers, if you have any question during the installation while following my videos, if you feel any question, if you feel any difficulty, uh, you may leave the comment in the comment box. I will be excited to help you to the best of my knowledge. Guys who are not my subscribers, please subscribe my channel and enjoy watching more videos, as very soon we are going to cover all the videos related to Dynamics 365 from beginners to professional level. I thank you all for watching this video.